Hey there you. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a practical aspect of working with Claude Code that will seriously streamline your coding process. By the end of this scene, you'll be setting up hooks that automatically run tests and linters every time you make a code change. This means no more manual checks, just clean, error-free code from the get-go. Let's break it down into simple steps. Why it matters. Imagine spending less time on manual tests and more time actually writing great code. By automating this part of your workflow, you can catch bugs early, improve code quality, and save a ton of time. How to set it up? 1. Open your project directory. First, navigate to the root directory of the project where you want these hooks to work. Open your terminal or command prompt here. 2. Create a .git/hooks directory. In this directory, we'll put our custom scripts that will run on every code change. Run bash dir p.git/hooks. 3. Write the pre-commit hook script. Next, create a pre-commit hook script that will run your tests and linters before the commit is allowed. Name it pre-commit. Here's an example using bash. Adapt as needed for other shells. Bash #.git/hooks/precommit. Echo running tests and linters. #run your test suite. Pytest. #run your linter. Flake8. If $any is a then. Echo tests or linters failed. Exiting. Exit 1. Fee. 4. Make the script executable. To make sure the script runs when needed, set it as executable. Bash chmod plus x.git/hooks/precommit. That's all there is to it. Now, every time you try to commit changes, your tests and linters will run automatically. If anything fails, you'll be notified right away. Give this a shot now and see the difference it makes in your coding workflow. Happy coding! All right, let's get you all set up with Claude Code so we can start automating those tests and linters. First things first, make sure you have Claude Code installed and configured for your project. If you haven't done that yet, open up your terminal and run bash npm install Claude Code. This will install the latest version of Claude Code globally on your system. Next, navigate to your project directory where you want these hooks to live. If you're just starting out, it's usually a good idea to have your .claude folder right in your root project directory. So, if your project is called My Project, make sure you run bash cd my project. Now, Claude Code hooks are defined in the .claude/hooks subdirectory of your project. If this folder doesn't exist yet, just create it with bash dir.claude/hooks. Inside this hooks directory, you'll see some example files like precommit.yml, but for our purposes today, we're going to focus on creating a new hook. Let's name ours something simple and clear. Let's call it test_lint.yml. Open up your favorite text editor or IDE and create this file. I recommend using VS Code with the Claude Code extension installed, as it will help you debug and ensure everything is set up correctly. Here's a basic structure for what your test_lint.yml might look like. YAML, when, event, precommit, path, /.js, adjust this to match the file types you want to run tests and linters on. Do, command, /node_modules/bin/slint. ext.js. Description, run ESLint. Command, gnody znak podkreślenia moduleś, bin jest verbose. Description, run jest tests. This configuration tells Claude Code to run both ESLint for code linting and jest tests whenever you try to commit a file that matches the specified pattern. The event is set to pre-commit, meaning these commands will run automatically before any files are committed. That's it. By setting this up, every time you make changes in your JavaScript files, star.js, and attempt to commit them, Claude Code will automatically run both ESLint and jest for you. By now, you've got Claude Code all set up in your project. Awesome. Now let's make your development experience even better by creating a hook that runs tests and linters automatically whenever you make changes. This means less manual work and more time fixing bugs. First things first, we need to create the file for our new hook. Navigate into your project directory and head over to .claude/hooks. Inside this folder, let's add a new file called testonChange.json. Bash cd path slash to slash your slash project slash dot Claude slash hooks. Touch testonChange.json. Now open that testonChange.json file in your favorite text editor. We're going to set up this hook so it runs our tests whenever we make changes. Here's what you need to add. JSON. Name. TestOnChange. Description. Run tests and linters on every code change. Triggers. Trigger. On code change. Commands. Command. npm run test. Command. npx ESLint. This configuration does two things. 1. It defines the name of the hook and what it's meant to do. 2. It sets up an on-code change trigger, which means this hook will run whenever there are changes in your code. 3. It includes commands to run both our test suite with npm run test and our linter with npx ESLint. Now that we've set up our hook, let's give it a quick test drive. Open a terminal window and make sure you're in your project directory. Then just type bash Claude run testonChange. This should trigger all of your tests and linters as if there were code changes. If everything works as expected, commit these changes to your repository so you can push them up. But if something doesn't work right, don't worry. We'll fix it together. Bash git add.claude/hooks/testonchange.json. Git commit add testonchange hook for automated testing. Now that you've got your automated tests and linters set up, you can start coding with peace of mind. Whenever you make changes, your tests will run right away so you catch bugs early. Go ahead and try making a small change to see the hooks in action. By now, you've got a hook set up for running tests on every change. Great job! Now let's take the next step and ensure your codebase remains clean and consistent with automatic linter checks. Automatically running linters like ESLint or Prettier on each file change will help catch formatting issues early, reducing merge conflicts and making sure everyone is following the coding standards. By setting this up, you're streamlining your development workflow to avoid common mistakes and maintain high code quality. 1. Open your claudecode.json file. Open the file where you defined your testonChange hook. We'll do something very similar for linters. 2. Create a new hook named lintonChange. JSON. Hooks. TestOnChange. Hooks. lintonChange. Trigger. OnChange. Command ESLint. 3. Add commands for different linters. If you want to use both ESLint and Prettier, add them as separate commands. JSON. Hooks. lintonChange. Trigger. OnChange. Commands. Command ESLint. Command Prettier. Check. 4. Save and commit your changes. Make sure to save your claudecode.json file and commit these changes. Bash git add claudecode.json. Git commit added linter hook for automatic linting on change. 5. Test it out. Next time you make a code change, the lint on change hook will run automatically, ensuring your code passes both ESLint and Prettier checks. Make sure to add this new lint on change hook to your project by following these exact steps. This setup will help maintain a clean coding environment as you develop. All right, you got your linter hook all set up, running like a well-oiled machine every time you make a code change. Now it's time to put that automation to the test. Literally, we'll see if everything works as expected and refine our hooks where necessary. Let's start by making some small changes in your codebase. Open up src/main.py or whatever your main file is, and add a new function or modify an existing one just to trigger the linters again. Specifically, let's add this snippet. Python def new function. Print, this is a test function. Save the changes. Now, every time you save main.py, your linter should automatically run. After saving, check the console or terminal where Claude Code outputs its logs to see if your linter ran and reported any issues with the new code. If everything is set up right, you should see messages like info running flake 8 on src/main.py. Warn W605 invalid escape sequence X at line 12. This should confirm that both your linter hook and Claude Code are working as intended. Now, let's test some edge cases. Create a file called utils.py or any new utility file you didn't have before, and add some complex or potentially problematic code. Python, def complex underscore math, x. Return x asterisk 2 plus 3. Save this file and observe if the linter detects any issues in it. If not, that might indicate a misconfiguration. Check your hook settings to ensure that all relevant files are included. If you encounter any bugs or false positives, now's the time to refine your hooks. For instance, if utils.py isn't being lint due to a configuration issue, adjust your .claudecode.json file. JSON. Hooks. Pre-commit. Lint. utils //.py. Lint. src //.py. This ensures that all Python files in src/ and util/ are lint. Set up a regular automated test to run these hooks. You could use a cron job or your CI/CD pipeline to periodically check if everything is running smoothly without manual intervention. By the end, you'll have a robust setup that automatically runs tests and linters on every change, ensuring your codebase stays clean and bug-free. By now, you've got Claude Code hooks configured to run tests and linters every time you make a change in your codebase. Great job! Let's take things even further by integrating these hooks into your CI/CD pipeline or exploring more advanced configurations. First, let's quickly recap where we are. You have a .claude.yaml file set up with your tests and linters configured to run on every save or commit. If you want to see how it looks in action, head over to the Claude Lab repo and take a peek at our setup. Now, think about your CI/CD pipeline. For example, if you're using GitHub Actions, you can add steps that call these Claude Code hooks directly from the build process. This way, every time someone pushes code or triggers a build, the tests and linters run automatically. Here's how. 1. Open your GitHub Actions directory in the root of your project. 2. Create a new workflow file like .github/workflows/claudelintertest.yml. 3. In this file, add a step that runs Claude Code hooks. YAML. Name. Run linters and tests. On. Push. Branches. Main. Pull _ request. Jobs. Run hooks. Runs on Ubuntu latest. Steps. Uses actions/checkout at v3. Name. Run Claude Code hooks. Run. npx Claude Code. Test. npx Claude Code. Lint. 4. Commit and push this new file to your GitHub repository. Now, every time you push code or open a pull request, the tests and linters will automatically run as part of your pipeline. This saves you precious time and ensures that your code is always clean and functional before it hits production. If you're not using GitHub Actions, consider other CI/CD providers like GitLab CI, Jenkins, or even local scripts to integrate these hooks. The key is consistency. Wherever you manage your builds, make sure Claude Code hooks are part of the process. Take this next step today by setting up a CI/CD integration or exploring more advanced hook configurations. It's all about making your development workflow as seamless and efficient as possible.